Heavy hitter. Very lucky to have this gentleman on today. And, sorry, I'm reading a little bit of this because I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. My next guest wasn't even born when his grandparents, Ralph and Norma Lewis, opened a drive-in restaurant on Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach, where there was nothing but cows and pastures, and that was it, basically. Ralph was told that his restaurant was never going to make it because it was so far out in the boonies at the time that people couldn't even deliver product there. Never mind get there. But on the first night they opened in October of 1947, there was a 2-hour wait. So I guess there was a lot of carnivores in West Palm Beach at the time. The restaurant was passed down to Ralph's son, Curtis, who ran it and made it into a fine dining, one of the finest steakhouses in all of South Florida. And now it's run by Curtis's son and Ralph Sr.'s grandson, Ralph A. Lewis, who is the proud co-owner of Florida's oldest steakhouse and one of my personal favorites. I can't wait to tell you the story about what happened over there at the Okeechobee Steakhouse. And most recently also, they opened the Okeechobee Prime Meat Market. Ralph Lewis, thank you so much for taking your time and to be on the show today. And I'm sorry we're like a half an hour late.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
Great. How are you doing today?
Great. What does your sign say? You can't deposit excuses. No, you cannot.
I make all my managers look at that every day.
You've got such an amazing team. But before we start about what's going on at the Okeechobee Steakhouse, I mean, you have such history. You must have the most amazing stories about, if those walls could talk at the Okeechobee Steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people knew that it was a drive-in.
I know. We had curb hop service there. They would come bring out a tray with a steak and a martini to your window, so you could have all you wanted to eat and drink while you're sitting in your car. Go figure. That was until 1968 they did that.
Well, you know what? We have some pictures, Ruby. Hold on a second.
Oh, wow. Let me see. That's my aunt in the doorway.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's from the late 40s. There's from the 1960s.
There it is. Okeechobee Drive-In. So, Ralph, did you ever consider that this might be the new normal, doing a steak in your car with a cocktail?
No, you know what? No, I never thought we would consider going back to that. And if I wasn't afraid to serve the cocktails in their car, I would think about bringing the curb hop back with roller skates and everything.
Oh, hilarious. I mean, I've been here for 40 years. I didn't even know that Okeechobee Steakhouse was once a drive-in, but I do remember that basically there was nothing west of Military Trail. It basically stopped at Military Trail, and it was cows and pasture. There was no Wellington.
Right. It was like you said, it was so far out when my grandparents opened the place, no one would deliver that far out of town. And even Mr. Cheney from Cheney Brothers Food Suppliers, him and my grandfather were poker buddies and good friends from the 1930s. And even he wouldn't deliver that far out to him. So my grandparents bought a van, had to drive into town, which was, along Dixie Highway back then, for about the first 7 to 8 years before someone would deliver that far out of town.
Wow. Was Okeechobee Boulevard, it wasn't even a thing, right?
It was just Okeechobee Road back then, and it was pretty much a dike at that time to hold the water back that was on the north side, because Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard wasn't there. None was there. Right. So it was out. And by the way, we're in the original building, original location. Yeah.
And like I said, if those walls could talk,
I know.
If you've never, I can't imagine anybody living in West Palm Beach area and not having driven by 1,000 times.
Right.
Never stopped in. It's such a beautiful, unique surprise because you don't realize that it is fine dining with white tablecloths and what I love about it, it's like New York. It's like Chicago. It's like Boston. I don't feel like I'm in Florida when I'm at
Right.
Toby Steakhouse. Was that on purpose?
Yeah, we get that mentioned quite often. You know, a lot of people will say they feel like the Rat Pack's going to walk in.
Yes.
You know, and that's been one of the most difficult challenges I've had as a third generation is keeping up with the times but still staying the same.
Yeah.
So it's took a little bit of finesse, you know, and challenges, but we've managed to do it. Up until this coronavirus hit on March 20th, we stay on a 4 to 6 week wait to get a reservation
Wow.
all during the season, and about a 2 week wait to get a reservation during the summer. So we're very, very fortunate and blessed. And we're all prime meat. We age all of our own meat. We have all of our own aging rooms in the building behind the steakhouse. So we have our 3 meat cutters on staff. We do everything old school, just like we did 70 years ago. And by the way, we are the oldest steakhouse in the state of Florida.
It is the oldest. 70, how many? 74 years old now?
73. Yeah.
3 years.
Since 19.
You have an anniversary coming up in October.
In October, we will. So after October, we'll enter into our 74th year.
Wow.
It was very surreal to us. You know, we never really thought about it much till probably the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's because of quality product, quality service. And I have to tell you the story.
tell me. You wouldn't tell me on the phone the other day, so you got to tell me now.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but I'm a control freak. Whenever I go to a restaurant where the server is not writing things down, I'm like, they're going to get it wrong, because that's my control freak kind of thing coming out there. So my father was a big fan of your restaurant.
Oh,
We
okay.
used to go there for special occasions a lot. So there was a party. It was my family with my father, and there was a party of 11. And we all had different steaks, different cuts of steak at different temperatures, and different potatoes along with those different steaks. So when our server was not writing down all the different cuts of steak for the party of 11 and all the different temperatures and all the different potatoes, I'm like, they are so going to screw this up. How's she going to remember all that? We got it to the table, and everybody got their right steak, and everybody got it at the right temperature, and everybody got the right potato, and I ate my hat, along with that wonderful filet mignon. Ralph, are they magic? How the hell do you do a party of 11, not write anything down? That does not compute in my brain.
Well, what I'm not telling you, you were the only table we got right for that whole night. We have some amazing. Our staff is phenomenal. We have great staff, and trained, and that's what I love hearing these stories. So this is awesome.
I was absolutely floored. I would have taken $1,000 bet that something at least one dinner would have been wrong, but it wasn't.
Well, thank goodness it wasn't, and you're not here years later to say that it was wrong. See,
it was absolutely not wrong.
But we've won for the last 2 years in a row, best fine dining and best steakhouse in the county voted on by the readers of the Palm Beach Post.
And for good reason. And Ruby, I'd like you to line up the picture with not with the famous chef. I'm just showing this stuff to you.
Okay.
I'm just throwing stuff in. Hopefully she'll know which one it is. Not with the famous chef. Yay! Ralph,
Okay.
tell me about this.
So the gentleman in the middle is named Wesley Thomas. He was a server that retired about 3 years ago, I think it was. He was with us 43, 44 years as a server. He was hired by my grandparents. So he actually worked for all 3 generations. He worked for my grandparents, my parents, and myself.
Wow. And he retired how long ago?
About 3 years ago.
3 years
Yeah,
ago.
he started in the early 70s. That was my father on the right.
Yeah.
So Yeah, amazing person, had a business within the business. He had so many call parties that people would literally wait days just to have him serve them.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's family. And that's what a lot of people who aren't in the biz don't understand, that you guys are a family. Every restaurant has their family, and it's their chefs, it's their servers, it's their floor, their seaters. What do you call them? I mean, you guys, can you explain that to people who don't understand that
Well,
part of the restaurant industry?
Yeah, it's hard for a lot of people to understand. If you provide a great place for people to work and understand everybody has a life too, and be a little flexible with them, treat people right, treat your staff right, let them know they're part of the business. You know, they're an important part. Doesn't matter if it's a dishwasher to a manager. Everyone's role is just as important. And people love to stay places they feel part of. Our general manager, Christine Wishart, she has been with us 25 years. In fact, July will be 26 years. So we have dishwashers that have been with us 30 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, in an industry with as much turnover as restaurants, it is pretty incredible.
It is, and not just turnover, but in the last 10 years, a lot of new competition coming in and going out.
Right. A lot of new competition, and that's the sad thing about, like, right now, I feel there's a lot of restaurants going to go out, but there's a lot going to stay in here. You're seeing so many good things coming about, like with Crazy Mike, with the creativity. That's phenomenal. And Jessica, that was just on with Cod and Capers, amazing family. They're awesome people, very charitable. So we appreciate everybody. And it takes all of us working together, because we're all in this together. We entered it at the same time. Yeah. We're all going to exit at the same time. And we all have the same amount of experience. So in this, which is very little, 39 days, as you said.
Making it up as we go along.
Right. So we're learning, we're making mistakes, we're fixing them. And a lot of things that Jessica was saying, same things we have experienced or are experiencing. So it's, it's just something we're working through. It's the steakhouse has been shut down 100% now for 39 days. Longest it's ever been shut down in history. I'm the first person that's ever had to lay a staff member off in 73 years. One of the hardest things I've ever done. Pray I never have to do it again. And we got lucky. We got the PPP money. We hired everyone back. So even though we're not open at the steakhouse, we still hired them back. We have them doing tasks and so on. But our meat market is open 7 days a week from 10 to 6:30. We have our barbecue trailer, which is to go barbecue every day from 11 to 6:30 in the parking lot.
Awesome.
A lot of to go, several hundred a day.
Wow.
And we're doing deliveries too. So we're doing steak dinners and a limited menu out of our catering kitchen, which is in another building, with free delivery in all of Palm Beach County from Jupiter to Boca. So you can call in and you can actually call the steakhouse number. We have it forwarded to our offices. So we're delivering with everything. We're trying to keep the staff going, and actually we are keeping the staff working. So one of the hardest things I had to go through, I had a single mother that works for us come in my office in tears, bawling, afraid, couldn't get unemployment, couldn't get through on that. We all know the horror story there.
Yep.
And right about that time, we got the PPP money and was able to put her back on payroll. So these are things, though, that every business owner is experiencing now.
I don't think a lot of the restaurant owners know that, because some of them have said to me, well, if I have the PPP money, then I can't open. And I'm like, you don't really have to open. You just have to pay them.
Right.
And, if you want to have them do something, do a deep cleaning or something. Take this time to paint. Take this time to do something. Or don't have them do anything. It's just to help them during this.
And that's what we're doing. And we put a lot of them doing deliveries. Delivery. So that's when we added the delivery, actually. So we put a few more people answering phone calls, added the delivery. You know, I'm on Facebook all the time. As you know, I do a lot of videos. I have a big following with videos, so it gets the word out. That's one thing that I would recommend a lot of the business owners do. You know, get it out there to social media, let them know, look for avenues that are free. And everybody's looking for a good story right now. Put it out. Support the small businesses, the local businesses. And I'm not just saying restaurants. Support all the small local businesses that are able to be open.
Yes. And one of the other things that you guys are doing is you're feeding boys and girls clubs, and you helped out with the front line at Okeechobee Steakhouse. That's
we've
community.
To right now, right around 2,000 first responders. That's doctors and nurses and paramedics, firefighters, and police. And so we, you know, we're very proud of that. Our staff's proud of it. And by everyone supporting the local businesses, this is what gives the businesses the ability to give back. So when you're supporting, like, say, us, for example, or Cod and Capers, because I know they're very generous.
Yes.
When you support us, you're supporting the community because we're giving it right back. We're spreading it around. Also, we've been helping feed 1,200 kids at the St. Lucie Boys and Girls Club in St. Lucie County. So doing a lot for that. We've given some food to the ER and ICU units at Good Sam, and just doing our part, you know. And I'm saying this to make people aware of it, not to pat ourselves on the back, but just for awareness that every bit adds up and counts.
Oh, yes, it sure does. And just the fact that you had to get creative and do something that was totally different after you had to lay people off, just your resilience is truly astounding. And
well, we're going to hang in here. You know, we're a financially sound company. We're still doing business at some of our companies, even though, you know, our main big daddy is the Okeechobee Steakhouse. It's closed, but we'll be open back up. We'll weather the storm. Yes. And we're going to take care of our staff. Number one priority for us is taking care of our staff.
What about the meat market? Is the meat market open?
The meat market's open 7 days a week, 10 o'clock in the morning till 6:30. We sell prepared meals to go. You can take them and heat them and serve them. Desserts, of course, all of our fine steaks, pork, veal, lamb, and amazing selection of wine. We have 700 labels of wine on our wine list. A lot of people don't know, but the Okeechobee Steakhouse has one of the top wine lists in the country.
Did not know that.
Yeah. We're in Wine Spectator every year. We're just a little bit away from being grand on the grand, which there's only, I think, maybe 2 in the state of Florida, 2 or 3. Wow. So, but we have over 700 labels of wine, and you can purchase those at the meat market as well. And the bottle prices on them are phenomenal. Very allocated wines too.
Excellent. And one of the things that put you on the map to, what do I want to say, to families and stuff like that is the birthday steak. Do you still do that?
We do free birthdays, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm getting ready to do a video on it, so you beat me to it. But everyone that's called in or anyone that's had a birthday between March 19th and whenever we open, we will honor those birthdays. So you haven't been left out. We're going to make it up to you. So everyone during the time we're closed, you're going to be able to get a free birthday. Last year in 2019, we gave away 9,000 free birthday dinners.
Holy wow.
Yeah.
Well, my birthday's coming up in about 3 weeks, and
hopefully we're open. But if not, you take a rain check because we'll see you.
I certainly will. Because I miss steak. I miss steak so much. Oh God. Well, thank you so much. And
thank you, Taylor.
Before we go, you are also on the board of directors of the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association chapter. You just had a meeting with the big guys last week. Yeah. What is the consensus, and how are you going how are you going to open? I mean, when it comes time.
Well, no one has a definitive answer yet. They have a really incredible team advising the governor. Very good mix from small business guys. So I want everyone out there to realize the small guys are being represented. Everyone knows the importance.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure, but they're probably going to start opening the restaurants within the next week to 2 weeks, with just phasing in a little bit, maybe outside dining, and then move to a percentage of occupancy. We're still not clear because you have 3 different entities to work through. You're dealing with business owners, you're dealing with health, like the FDA and CDC, and you're dealing with the governor's office herself. Right. So it's a lot to get all 3 on board with what will work. And then really at the end of the day, the guests, the public is going to let us know what's going to work.
Yes.
But it's coming soon. We're going to be able to get opened or start getting in phases to get open very soon here in Florida. But I'm just not quite certain on what extent. They haven't really told us yet. And I just want to say that to let people know, the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association has been fighting for everyone. And when they go to bat, my hat's off to Carol Dover. She is the head of it. I spoke with Carol yesterday. She has 2 to 3 meetings a week with the governor himself. She is fighting for us. And when she's fighting for the restaurants and hotels, it's also fighting for other small business owners, because it's all going to fall into the same category, with retail. So they're doing a lot, but it's a lot to deal with.
I don't envy what you're going through. And I mean, it's like I said, the resilience. We were shut down. Day 39. You had to pivot and do something else, and now you have to pivot again. And not make it out. I'm very happy that the Okeechobee Steakhouse will, and we will be there to support you. That's what this show is all about: is letting people know that it's the locals. You gotta support local businesses. Period. End of story. That's it. When it's time, and if you don't feel comfortable, people watching, going to dine in when they do open, continue to do takeout.
Right. We've been creative. We're going to stay creative. We have a huge customer base, and I'm just basically farming to my customer base. Yeah. And then reaching out to everyone, letting them know that support all the small businesses. We're going and buying food for our staff at other places, at other small restaurants, small places, sandwich shops, bringing it back. Even though we can fix it ourselves, we're still going and buying several times a week just to support other businesses.
Yeah, and so if Stacy just wrote, you just got me in the mood. I'm going to go pick up a few steaks shortly. Now, I know that she's out in the Wellington area, but if you're somewhere around the Okeechobee Steakhouse, instead of going and buying your steaks at a market, why don't you go to Okeechobee Prime Meats? Is that the Prime Meats and Steaks?
Okeechobee Prime Meat Market.
Prime Meat Market, which is right kind of behind the Okeechobee Steakhouse, at the corner where Okeechobee and Palm Beach Lakes intersect. Because that's still supporting local, and
it's supporting local. And when you support the big box stores, most of the people who are doing that are supporting them based on price.
Yeah,
and that money leaves the community. Yeah, the payroll a little bit stays here. The profits leave. The charity's not the same. It's just not the same. Yeah. And really, it's like I've done a video several weeks ago. If you're a big fan of the big box stores and you think that's where you should be, then stay there. You're not my customer. I don't even want you there. I want the customers who have the same mindset, generosity, and understand what it takes to support the community. That's who we want as our customers.
Yeah. Ralph Lewis, Okeechobee Steakhouse, thank you so much for being on the show. And I read something that you said, You want to be around to celebrate Okeechobee Steakhouse's 100th anniversary. You will be 84.
I will. I
I'm a
will.
little older than you. I want to have a glass of wine and cheers to our steak in whatever year that will be.
in 2047.
47.
2000. So 27 years from now, you and I need to have your little show going still, and we'll celebrate. Have a big toast.
I love it. Thank you so much. Okie Steakhouse is where you're going to find the Okeechobee Steakhouse website. Just Google it. Find Ralph and his videos on his Facebook page. Visit the Okeechobee Steakhouse and the smoker that they got out there, and the meat market if you're looking for a great steak. And we can't thank you enough for everything you're doing for the community and everything you and your family has done for the community for the last 73 years.
We're blessed to be here, and thank you, Taylor, so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Have a wonderful day.
Cheers.
Cheers.